Good morning and welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. And I am your host, Down to Crypto TA. Bitcoin seeing another little bounce here from my low. I actually took a long position yesterday. I closed it out rather early, right in here, even though I had the intention, well, not the intention, but I could see that, price was within harmony and that it would potentially get up into here. Let me see where here is, as I say here. But you can see where we are just above it at the moment. So 91,754. So price was somewhere in here, and you can see how we were moving in harmony within this volatile range here. Just within this range here, and you can see this a lot easier for yourself if you jump over onto your 4-hour time frame using your Bollinger Bands, because that's about all I'm doing right here. And so I plotted this trend line here right before we made our way down here to this level. And I was just hoping and praying that it was going to hold. And we stayed here for a few candles, which is why I ended up taking the long position here. But I did cut it rather prematurely here. But I'm happy. I just wanted to get a quick trade in and jump out of this baby. Right now, I am seeing us get to our next level here, and the raise you're seeing in here also that I could have just went with the raise as well, but just looking for that extra confluence in here. So I'd be looking for price to push up into here wherever you just saw that yellow band at. Actually, if I just put us on the 4-hour time frame, I'm just using the Bollinger right here. And so, oops, I might have that set for an 8. I may have it set for an 8. Let me see. Yep, I have it set for an 8. So the trend line is it's all the same. Everything just comes together. That's why trend lines are so fantastic. Everything just comes together. So looking for a move into here around 90. We'll just call that 94. Okay, call that 94 back into the lows in here. So that's what I'm looking for right now for Bitcoin. I don't think that we're quite there just yet where we're ready to see any sort of a major move in price action. Not yet, but we are performing rather well at this moment. Could put in a little bit of inverse head and shoulder. I'm going to take a look back over at the option strike prices here as well. See what that's shaping up to be like. See here. All right, so you can see here on the daily time frame here how when we are getting our moves up, it's basically just coming back into this 5 EMA. We want to start to get back above this range in here that we got the breakdown from. That's what we want to start seeing. As long as the price is staying relatively close to it anyway. If we start to deviate further down, let's just say that 85,000 where we have the 786 located at, then that's going to be something different. All of this is going to continue to push down with it. And then we just have to reassess things. But right now, you can see when we are getting price moves, it's just simply coming back into the 5 EMA, which is why I'm saying I think we're getting close, but we're not quite there yet. But we're definitely starting to get a little bit closer here. Let's take a look here. Let me just hit refresh over here one more time before I jump us over here on this chart. All right, so strike prices in here. Nothing too much has really changed in here. 85 is still a big hedge place here. So that's 786. I mean, I just keep everything on the table. Keep 85 on the table. Keep 80,000 on the table. If things start to get out of hand, market makers, can't, control the volatility or, yeah, just keep these two in mind. Keep the 85, this biggest strike area right here. We can gravitate towards this right here. So we can still gravitate towards this, but you can see some closing, some taking profit is taking place here the same way it did over 95 and the 100,000. So this is quickly becoming an area of interest right here. And you can see how we have a pretty good number of calls right here at this level. So when we do get our bounce, that is something that I would be looking towards, price moving back up to that $100,000 level. So yeah, I ended up closing out that position. I was good with it just because, I mean, I could see us go up a little bit more, but nonetheless, I just don't think that we're all the way there yet. And I still have to be mindful of price potentially coming down here towards this 85 and then maybe even 80,000. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And this was just the line here. It happened to line up with the 786, which is here. Because at first, I honestly wasn't interested in looking at a 786. At this point, I don't even care. I, I honestly don't care at this point. That was a slip in the golden pocket. But when I look back over here, I was like, where's a place where we might start to find some sort of actual support? And so I just plotted. Hold on. Oh, hold up. Yeah. So I just plotted a little line across. You see how we have this potential for this support area in here where we got that inverse head and shoulder. So I just plotted that line there, and then I was like, let me pop on that 786, and that's exactly where we would end up coming down to with this rejection. That means not getting back inside of this little range right here. And this still looks like we're coming down. It just still looks like we're coming down. Even if we were to get a bounce up into that 95, we'll just say 95.5. Even if we were to get a bounce into it, it looks like we would reject and come on down, come on back down. But nice little bottom and tails in here. Nice little bottom and tails for sure. Let's see. Oh, this is just the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, we're not even starting to round up just yet here on the weekly, which, I mean, everything in here remains the same from the last time that I did update it, where I said 90,000 and then I changed that to 85,000. And you can see in here how I set that up with the max pain. Let me see if max pain is the same. Yeah, it's more like 105, so $1,000 difference. I'm gonna go ahead and update that. We could be back and forth update. Had to tell you the truth. I'm gonna set it for 105. Max pain is also an area of interest, but 100,000 definitely looks like that could. Looks like that could be a place of interest for a bounce to the upside. So everything else is the same in here. Nothing new there. I did not update this part in here. The risk to reward ratios, I have not updated that. I deleted the one that was over here. And I didn't take any of this stuff out because this is what we were initially looking at, the $100,000 range. So please, no, actually, let me just delete it. I probably could just go ahead and take this out. And since that strike price is 85, it's always going to be like an even number. Um, What is that? 570. I would just kind of expect that. We would probably do a little bit lower than the 80,000. Yeah, we probably end up doing a little bit more than 80,000, but we're not going to try to calculate it because I can't. I usually do like a 10% move, a 0.10. Yeah, 0.10 off of the low, but that would be a lot for this time frame over here. I tend to do it off of a lower time frame. It doesn't. It's not a lot when you do it from a lower time frame. I don't know what the difference is between that. To be honest with you, not that. I'm sorry. Yeah. See, this would be a lot, and it won't be that. I won't be looking for that. Yeah, I won't be looking for that. So let me see. Yeah, I can't get anything off of that. Oh, hold on. Let me just put on the VRVP here. Hmm. Maybe that 80, 83, something like that. Where we have the volume from this one. That goes with that. So maybe that. I'm just going to do it like that. So if we're looking at 85,000, then maybe it just tags right about there at 83 and bounce away. I'm not really trying to catch the bottom, although it looks like I am. I'm really not. But we have those two confluence of volume over time and volume over price right here at the high of that candle. Was that a closing candle or, yeah, high of that closing candle right there. 85,760. I'm sorry, 83,760. That could be our target if we do come down there. This is still one of the theories that I have in mind here. Coming back. I have this at 102, just back to where we were holding support here on the monthly time frame, possibly putting in a head and shoulder formation, and then continue to move to the downside. It's just a theory. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Just something I was looking at as a, you know, probability mapping things out. And then that moves us down here into our bear market territory lows. And like I said before, if we're getting lower and lower and lower and lower on the RSI, there's a chance that maybe, just maybe, we freak a bunch of people out by dropping a little bit lower than expected. Because I know a lot of other analysts are also looking right here, somewhere right in here. It's price not actually going below this low. And but based on my indicator, historically, we don't. So we'll see. Just if that RSI is going to get lower and lower and lower, then it means that we would tip the cup a little bit below this level. That's what I got to say about it. See how close we got here to the 200? And that's going to move slightly. It's going to move first time coming below the 60. And I use a 60 and not a 50. You can use a 50, but I use a 60. And that's my thoughts, and I'm sticking to it. All right. I was looking at this on Solana. I got it as possibly a little head and shoulders. This doesn't really look like one right here. I mean, it does, non-traditional head and shoulder formation. If I were to just do it for the sake of doing it. Because this could also just be a falling wedge or something like that. As close as I can get it. It's not going to be perfect. All right, so we might see something like that. Whichever one happens first. And I'm missing. Oh no, this is because I'm on a. Hold on, am I missing something? Oh, okay, I was on the 1 hour. I was on the 1 hour time frame. So that aligns with the golden pocket 786 here on a retracement back down. Yeah, I was using this over here, which you can't see it from this time frame. See how long we stay in here. So nice earnings yesterday off of Nvidia, which I don't know anyone who was expecting for them to not have a good earnings, which sometimes doesn't mean that price pumps. But and I'm gonna take a look at that Nvidia chart too, because it's doing exactly what I figured they were going to do. And I'm gonna go through some other charts with you on Nvidia. Maybe we can hold our trend line in here. So that means we would spend quite a bit of time just kind of consolidating through here. But this line right here, and I was just walking this line down right here, the one that you're seeing right here. That was just me walking this line down. I was just seeing how much it was respecting this line every time I moved it to a pivot. But that's coming from this point right here. So this was the first little pivot from the move up to down. And I was just moving that line around when I decided to plot it here yesterday. In fact, I think I was using, hold on. I may not have been using that same point there yesterday. I think I might have been using the point from here initially. I was looking at this here, and I was just kind of moving this one around a little bit right here. And then you can see how we tapped into here and we got our little bounce. We double tapped into there. So I was using this one yesterday, and I kept using different ones just to kind of see. Because I usually only do the ones from up above the head, or the ones that are going, that are rising, not the ones from the low that are coming down. I don't usually use those right there, those trend lines. I figured, why not? Why not, though? And that's what we have. And I could drop this one into here now. So on the next move down, just kind of like trying to catch it where it might be. We don't have another point in here past this one. So hopefully it's a slow walk down if price does come back and continue down. Like I said, the daily time frame just looks like we're not even there yet. We're sometimes hitting and missing the 5 EMA is all we've been doing. And we still have this big gap in between them at the moment. No sort of curvature. So slope is still down. And you can see that's what we rejected again also. So that's what I'm watching right now on Bitcoin. Solana was an easy call yesterday. Easy call because we had this head and shoulder here. And that's what this measured move right here was. I didn't take a trade on Solana. I just saw it yesterday. So you can see that was what I mapped out on it. I was like, little head and shoulders here. 786 for sure. And then another little head and shoulders right here is all I mapped out right there. This is your 50% retracement right here, which I think the price probably would come a little bit further, probably back down here into this order block here. This would be round about where your golden pocket would probably be sitting at. This is the one from this move right here. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. So I did not check if you're, yeah, so that is correct. So that would be right about here where this order block is at. And this equilibrium right here, 50. Let me just spoon through here real quick. We are still within the bearish control zone. Nice little double bottom right there for SOL. Still rejecting from the line here, descending trend line right here. Let's see one. And I'm still thinking that price can come down into here for SOL. I still think there'll be a play out this measured move. Not something that I'm liking, but I still think we can. In order for me to just do away with this idea that price is going to continue down and come somewhere down here around this 105, I would need to see Solana reclaim back above here. Same thing goes with Bitcoin. So we're at it right now. We're at it right now, and it is trying its best to get back inside that level, trying to get back inside there. So maybe it does hold somewhere right in here. All right, Ethereum. I haven't looked at Ethereum too much. So Ethereum had a little head and shoulders on it as well yesterday. I didn't look at it though. Dang, Ethereum got pretty whacked yesterday. You do have a trend regression line through here. That you could use. This usually leads to more sell-off. It looks like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It looks like that just started. And that's typically when your MACD crosses below your delta. It usually leads to more sell-off. Doesn't have to be a lot, but you can see like over here, MACD crossed below delta, and it's not turning up. MACD isn't turning up, so as long as it's going down, that usually means a little bit more sell-off. See that? See where you got the cross here, and see how the MACD turned up right here. That was that small little push right there to the upside, but it never crossed back above it. So wouldn't call it a fake out, but that little relief bounce right there, and then that continuation down. So this could lead to more sell-off right here. It could, but there's no confirmation on this MACD just yet. Right now it's postured down. This would be your next area of interest right here. It's between 277 to 26.49, 26.50. That would be your next area of interest. I never even noticed that we actually broke below this low here yesterday. It must have been yesterday. And I said 26.50. Okay. All right, so that puts us in here where we have the point of control. Point of control, as well as the 200 EMA. So that would be this right here. Golden pocket is also in here as well. So golden pocket, 20 week EMA, and the point of control all sit inside this zone right here. For Ethereum. Zcash, before I get over into NVIDIA, Zcash, we're looking at Zcash. This is just me. I'm still in the Zcash position. And while I'm talking about this stuff, I actually took 2 positions on Zcash. One I closed out partially. The other one, I closed out fully. And I didn't take it from the golden pocket. We did look at this together on Tuesday, and I said that more than likely it's a psychological level. We'll see a bounce there. I do tend to favor price coming down to the next trend line here, where we also have the 786. But when we got here and we got the little reaction here, I waited for the break. See how we have these. This in here along with the trend line down through here. That is where I got in at. And I closed out. Half of this already, and closed out half of this already. So I got in here, right here. I closed out half of this already, and I still have the rest of it in here, which is why you see mark price here. And then I entered into a new position on the pullback here into the golden pocket. That's the one that I closed out completely. So I took it twice, and that's the one you're not seeing. Because I noticed that when we got this first bounce up here, we didn't fully tap into this golden pocket. I figured that was kind of weird for Zcash because it tends to respect hitting that golden pocket at least. I mean, when you have something that is performing very well, it'll get back to those levels to the upside. This is going to be premium. Downside, it would be a discount. So I just kept half of it in here. And I was like, if it doesn't get there, then it'll just take the rest of the little money back and that'll be fine. But it did. And it got kind of sticky in here, especially when I saw this little low in here. I was like, yeah, maybe we're not going to get up that high. But I'm still holding it. So, yeah, looks like we could put in a little head and shoulders in here. This is the daily range low right here at 659 here. Now that you've seen this, I can go ahead and delete this too. But that does start, it's looking like it might put in a little head and shoulder. I don't think we'd hold this line a third time. And it's not even that, yeah. You had to drop below this daily range first. Then I guess I would start to look at this again, where we had the previous day low here. Yep. Why is that happening? For Zcash, I know it broke like this momentum line here like twice. Let's see, because it was initially like this. It got the, well, no, actually not twice. There's just a little bit right here, and then it reclaimed back above it. And then me, naturally, I probably would have moved it because I know me. I probably would have moved it and then seen it do that again. But yeah, it looks like it's probably done. Attempting that now, probably get a move down. Yeah, it was hitting the top side of this trend line in here. That was when I started thinking, for sure it's probably going to come back down now, but it didn't. And it just kept chopping. And of course, another bear div. You see the bear, well, didn't actually put one in right there, but you can see the bear div through here. Now we have the bear div through here. I don't really have a place to put this, which likely means that usually when I don't have a place to put a trend line, we drop down a little bit more significantly. This is positive right now, even though you see the red line right here just showing that the MACD crossed below the delta. They're both positive at the moment, so we're just walking the line right now until we do. So if we start to drop down and lose our daily range, which, like I said, looks like it might be putting in the head and shoulders, we might do that. And we could just go ahead and measure this out, see if we have any confluence. Doesn't guarantee anything, but oh, sorry, went way too far. We don't really have a breaking point. That seems about right, though, right? It seems about legit. Just coming back into this trend line right here again. And at the moment, we can say we have higher highs and higher lows. So we'll just be on the lookout for something like that. Let's see, on a 1 hour, we're holding the trend line through here because I did look at this this morning. So we're still holding above this trend line in here. Once we see that break, then we can pretty much bet on price. I hate to say bet. That will probably be the move right here. Back into here, and then we'll just start to look at this line once again, just in case, because we like to be prepared. We can start to look at this right here. But once it breaks this trend line, that means it's also going to break the 20 SMA. So you can just also work off your 20 SMA. Now over here on the 1 hour time frame, negative posture on the MACD, negative posture on the delta, which is crossing below the zero line. Which if I use the signal line for, you don't have to have that extra line in here because you can always tell when the MACD got its signal crossed because the delta crosses below zero. That's all that means. Delta crosses below zero, MACD is crossed the signal line. And I don't think that there was anything in here on the 4. I could plot a little line across here on the 4. The 4 is always going to happen a little bit later, so you can see how that was the second entry that I took on on Zcash. In fact, let me see. And that was such a quick get in and get out because I'm really not making. I mean, Zcash. I did that. And that was it's a 4 hour one. You can see right here, 591, 581 right there. So I did take that break right there off of the RSI. So I took that for that second entry and I got in and got out real quick. I think I closed this one out off of this push up right here. I closed it off out of that. Um, and then it kept going, but I was okay because I was still holding part of that other position. Yeah, I can plot a line across here, and then you can see the lower one that we had here as well. This one right here. So that matched up pretty good with that golden pocket drop down in here as it was holding. Oh, that was the thing about Bitcoin too. I do fancy the RSI quite a bit just for that reason. And that was the thing on Bitcoin too. On Bitcoin on this 4 hour time frame, it held the low as well, which was additional confluence of price getting that bounce from that low that I mentioned. So right here on the RSI, you can see this low right here connected from here over to here, and it came down and it tapped that and it respected it. And that was another cue, along with the other trend lines that I showed you, for me to take the position into Bitcoin and not expect for it to make it all the way down here yesterday, but to actually get that bounce from that point. So that was another little thing. Bullish divergence here on the BB. So on volatility, you had the bull div in here. Now, here's the thing right here, NVIDIA, and you can see that it stopped this out. And this is just paper trading over here. I hold NVIDIA in spot. So this is just paper trading. I was saying to you that more than likely they're going to keep price action pinned around this 180 up to the 200, right? With the earnings coming in, and they're still pinning it here right now. That's the word that I like to use for pinning, which is why you see my little pins in here at these different points in here. I didn't think that they would actually hit the 180 again, to be honest, which is why I set that on the 180. But they did. So if I were paper trading, I probably would have got stopped out right here. Just quick re-entry though. Once it came back above the line right here, even though it broke it again, but still a quick little re-entry would have been right there for me, or just the reaction of this candle altogether. And they're still pinning the price in here. So I was looking at NVIDIA over here. Let me show you why I've chosen these areas in here as well. The ones that you see, along with the exception of this 220 up here, because we're not there yet, and we probably won't get here for another maybe a month. Maybe we'll see how fast they want to run this up right here. But that's max pain. So the 180 is your max pain for NVIDIA. You can see the max pain right here. That's 180. So that's why I'm pinning the price right here at the 180. And then you can see your different strike prices right here. So this is going to expire in 1 day. So 11/21/25. So this is the expiration date for this right here. So you can see some of the other points that I have in here. Now I'm not doing the 170 here, and I have my notes in here for NVIDIA. Let me just turn my notes on so I can make sure I tell you what I chose to look at. Which is 175. So I'm looking at 175, which This is below the 786. So that I don't actually have those two on here as any points of interest at the moment, but they could come into play after tomorrow. Okay, so it could come into play after tomorrow. So I stop out right here. This is your biggest area of interest right here, open interest right here at the 180. So I stay focused on the 180, and then you can see your second one right here is the 200, which is why every time I put in a long position, I stop that out around the 200 price target. And of course, you can see your other ones in here. You can see I have 195 on here. I actually skipped over 190. Um, and and then I have 205 in here. I put 210 in here. So some of them I did kind of I skipped. I don't know why. I just chose to do it like that. Yeah, I just chose to do it like that. But this was my main focus right here, the 200 and the 180, because price will tend to gravitate towards those points, especially as you get closer to an expiration date. And then your max pain. Max pain is very statistical. Um, so that's why you see it the way you see it on my chart with the expiration date ending tomorrow. So we should start to see price action move away from these points here soon. If I go up here though, let's take a look at right now it's set for the expirations there. We'll take a look at the 28. So this would be next week. So see max pain is going to move to around 185. So a $5 difference. You still have a huge strike here at 200. 190, which you don't see on my chart, my actual chart. I'm probably not going to even put it. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I will end up switching it out, taking away that 195 that I have and switching it to a 190 possibly. And then again, like I said, this is below the 786, so I do not like that. I do not like that at all, because that would be a break of market structure. Right now, NVIDIA is on this 4 hour. You can see that it's putting in lower highs. It's holding the lows. So you're not putting in the lower lows, but you are putting in lower highs at the moment. I'm not going to get into that part right there. I'm just going to move up one more week. Let's go to 205. Now, from my understanding, because I did not listen to the NVIDIA call, they're pressing for, well, they're saying that they could easily get up to like 300 here real soon. But there's the 220. I have 220 on my chart. So there's the 220 right here. So this is around December in here. We could see price gravitate up to that 220. And I had an open order set up to take some profit on NVIDIA once it did decide it was going to get up into here. I checked back on it today, and thank goodness I did, because they canceled it. And I could have sworn I set the expiration date for when I close it. I don't know what happened. I'm not mad about it. Because we're not there yet. But in the event that price didn't pop back up and probably went down to that 175, I did have a stop in there for half of my NVIDIA, and it wouldn't have got triggered. So that's the thing that kind of ticked me off about that. I really don't understand why that happened. At 200 would be less of a factor. 205 would be more of a factor for me. 175, which is where that 786 is located at the moment, that would become a point right there. And this is where I actually had my stop me out a portion of my NVIDIA right here. But like I said, for some reason that order was canceled on me. But max pain goes back to being around 180. So 185, 180, something like that. They're still pinning the price. We'll see how long they do that. Probably, like I said, until tomorrow, they'll do that. I mean, it affects how much they have to pay out, because, they offer these contracts. Market makers offer these contracts. So it lessens how much they have to pay out when it hits your strike price. it moves away from it, probably going to max pain, or but when it hits it, it moves away from it. It affects how much you get paid out. Anyway, I'm watching that. I was looking at I really don't have to look at this one right now. I was watching this yesterday though. You can see how far away we are from back over here. You're just gonna have more people looking to long here. More more calls than puts on Nvidia. Obviously, something that performs like that. That's just and this last price. They don't update this until market opens, which it should be open all the time. It really should. It should be open all the time. But I was watching yesterday, right before market closed, just to kind of see like what the volatility was looking like on it, and you can see how implied volatility had turned down. It turned down slightly before that the market closed. It turned down slightly before, and that's when I knew we was probably going to get that little push up. And over here, both of these turned down over here. So less people were looking to short it at the moment. But none of it matters to me because I'm spot on Nvidia, and I'm not leveraged on it, and I'm definitely not in any options. I've never done an option in my life, and I probably never will. I will leverage trade it though, but I haven't. I haven't done that. But that's what I'm looking at here with Nvidia. Taking a look at Tesla as well. Still holding up in here. I did see on Tesla because I am watching Tesla as well. Um, Volatility did turn down a little bit yesterday with Tesla, especially with Nvidia, because that was like a big thing. We knew that that was going to affect markets. Biggest company in the world have their earnings call. What does that look like? That would put a lot of fear into the market if they didn't come out with those spectacular earnings. But I guess with the whole situation with the tariffs, China, and all that good stuff right there, everybody's had this fear about how it's going to affect the Nvidia's price, which I can understand, and the whole AI bubble narrative, all that good stuff right there. But I am watching Tesla too. Um, I'm seeing a little bit more. Like I said, I really think that Tesla can get down into here. I still think that, even though we got the breakdown below this trend line right here, we got the reclaim above it. I don't know. My heart just still leans down here. We'll see if it happens. Right now, we're inside the range again. We're inside the range again. And I'm applying this range differently than any of the other ones that I usually do. Initially, I was looking at this like, okay, double top, measure move on down here. Just come on down here. I'm not trading. Not trading. I'm not invested in Tesla, and I have no plans on being in Tesla. Now, if Tesla was to make just absolutely nuke, yeah, absolutely. But nah, none of this. I'm not interested in it. 300s, 400s, 200s. I'm not interested in Tesla. I still just feel like Tesla can come back into here. Um, I still feel like it. Now I was looking at VWAP on here. I'm not a big VWAP girl, but I do like it on higher time frames. I like the VWAP on a higher time frame. I don't like VWAP on lower charts or lower time frames. So I was just looking at this here, and right here to volume weighted average price. It is down here. Once I checked it out, it's like, okay, yeah, it is. It is down here. So maybe we get it. Maybe we get it. I haven't looked at any of the other details here on Tesla, but I'm still thinking that price can come down to here. That's what I'm still thinking. Volatility turned down slightly yesterday, but it still looks like more sellers are stepping in on Tesla, and that would drive the price down. Now, this is just technical analysis right here, not any of the other data from bar chart or anything like that. This is just me looking at price action and saying, this just seems probable to me. It just seems probable to me. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. This is bandwidth one here, along with the ascending trend line in here. And if you didn't notice, that's 1 year. That's a year. Like I said, I only like to look at it from higher points of view, monthly, yearly. I will assess and see how well it respects it, but this is 1 year. Tesla. This is still. That's the first little speck of blue. So I'm thinking after all of this red, that first little speck of blue, even though we went back into red, we're nearing a point where we'll see a little bit of a bounce here off a circle. Not that it'll make a difference in my life, but that is the first little speck of blue in there. So we'll see how long we flip flop in between blue and red before we actually see some green print in here and start to get a little bit of a, more of a move up. Probably won't be too much. Maybe just back into this 96 in here, maybe. Back up to that. Or wherever this lands by the time any of that takes place for circle. Oh yeah, and the other day when we were on stream, I went ahead and added in another drop down. That was the first one off of the head and shoulder, and I was like, let me just double up on this thing because it's not looking too great. It's not looking too great, but let me just check. Okay, wanted to make sure I wasn't running my mouth too much and Bitcoin was getting away from us, and it's not. All right, Palantir yesterday with a nice little pop up, little trend line down through here on Palantir. I sold a little bit that I did have left in here. It's coming from this point up here. And I had to move this line right here numerous of times. I had it here, and then I saw the little swing fail right there. I had it here, and we got the little swing fail right there. And then I put it here the last time. And then I found rich time frame. Price action was moving in harmony. And so let's see. This was that previous month low. Remember, we were trying to, it was bouncing up above it. It lost it, came back up, lost it, came back up, rejection. And we're back up above this previous month low now. If we move up any further, I look for a rejection somewhere here around the 177. Only because these are this is sloping down at the moment. It can always change, but that's what I would be looking for. If it pushes up, nice little momentum pop out right here, that line there. That was a reclaim after bears pushed the price down, managed to successfully reclaim right here. So hold on to that. I'll be looking somewhere in here. I was considering a quick trade on it, but market's already closed, so I just didn't. I didn't. Gold still holding the trend line through here, still above here. So this is fine. Still lower highs here on the 4-hour time frame, but higher lows. And nothing has changed here for me with gold. I'm just going to tap real quick just to get to it. Hold on. I guess I deleted that marker that I had in here. I guess I did. Make sure I didn't have it over here. Oh, okay. I had it over here. It's still the same for me. So far, we haven't come back. Yeah. So far, we haven't come back up here. So, like I said, maybe, that would be the lower high. Just getting above the highs over here would be the lower high. And then we see price come down to here. Haven't broken this yet, so cannot Yeah, we haven't broken this yet. Once we break this, I might start to feel a little bit more confident on that move happening to the downside. And I'm not. I know it's holding moving averages as well. Um, yeah. So you got the. Let me make sure because sometimes I change these things. 200. Yeah. So still holding 200 through here. Once it breaks that, and I said I started to feel a little bit more comfortable about this in here. Once it breaks that. Hasn't done that yet. Haven't had a single cross below the 200. Not a single cross. I don't think that 5 even crossed it. And even if it did, it's the 5. Like yeah. I'm not going to count that. Not going to count that. But if price does start to lose this trend line through here, and let me just pick up that little wick I see right there. Let me just pick it up. Once we start to lose this here, more favorable, much more favorable. 36 to 33. That would have been a good short too. I don't short. I've never traded gold a day in my life. Not up and not down. I've looked at the chart and yeah, I just analyze it. But I never traded it before. That would have been a good short, and you would have been able to get into that early too, because we were looking at that possibility of price action getting into here early. It was early. In fact, that little the point that we were looking at in here, what did I base that on? Yeah, it was based on the lows right through here. And price did come up above it ever so slightly, but that would have been a good short. That would have been a good short. You would have been in early enough to, I mean, and same thing goes with this one over here. While I didn't, I mean, it was a double top over here, but definitely called that breakdown on that ascending Broadening formation. Called that breakdown on that. And another little bounce too, called that too. Anyway, that's gold. That's gold. All right. So Amazon, we talked about this right here. This is our next zone of interest right here. The first one we did lose. We did see a reaction there off the first one. This was the first one right here. We got that first little bounce right there out of our zone right here. And then we started to react down here at our low, but eventually we lost that. You know how that goes. And now we're at the next area of interest here, and along with our ascending trend line in here. Like I said, I think this right here is maybe 2 months out. We're a little bit less than 2 months now, but I'm just going to continue to say 2 months out if this is going to happen. That's just what I think, and that's just based on technicals. But nonetheless, nice little bounce here, and I would have done a trade on this one. I closed out Amazon. And I told you that because I didn't take profits up here. I did not. I knew that we would probably get stopped out somewhere around our euphoria level in here. But I did not take any profits on it. And then I was thinking about maybe adding to the position. I don't want to do that anymore because I did that with Circle and it was a terrible idea. Absolute terrible idea. And so now I'm underwater on Circle where I should have just set my stop. Even though I'm spot, I should have just set a stop for it anyway. And I didn't do that. And I'm always harping about you can always set a stop loss on spot positions as well. And I didn't do it. And I started adding to it. So the last time you heard me talk about adding to a position, I said, do not add to a losing position. Do not add to a losing position. And that's just where I'm at. I'm not trying to accumulate. I did say I'm doing chain link. So that's a lie. I did say I am buying chain link. I am buying chain link as it gets the drop. That's the only thing at the moment. But I have learned my lesson, especially in the stock market. I'm not adding. I'm not adding to a losing position. I took my profits. I took it late, and it was here. It was off of this candle right. I think it was this candle right here. I know that we were in that zone right here. I was like, let me just go ahead and take that out. I'm not gonna ride that all the way back down here because this was my entry, and I'm like, I'm not gonna ride it all the way back down here. And thank goodness, I did take what I took out of it from here. Thank goodness. Would have been better if I'd taken it up here, but we're here now. We don't hold here. Then I do start to look at this next area in here, which is where we also have our harmony line. That's what I like to call it. I call it the top of a band, euphoria. Anywhere in between that and SD1, I'm going to say that that's harmony. And then if we lose that, then, I expect for us to come back towards our mean. But right now, I'm focused in here. And I think I'm using, just so you'll know, 3 month, 3 month, which is why I'm saying months out on this one right here. Okay. I think on a 3 month time frame, what we have left, we had a month, 12 days. So a lot less than what I'm saying at the moment. I keep saying 2 months out, which I mean it still can be. I haven't done any additional research on Amazon. I just know that I just marked out some technical levels in here for this part. And see if we get back down here towards this. I wouldn't enter on this right away. It'll have to chop for me like it did in here for me to enter it. Like I have to see it chopping. Unless it's some sort of a huge capitulate like this candle right here. If it drops a nuke like that, then maybe, a nuke like that, I could see me taking it. But I looked at this later on. No, actually, I didn't look at it later on. I decided to get into it later on because I posted on it. It's like do or die right here for Amazon. It's do or die, and I sat there for a few days. As you can see, I sat for a few days, and I was like, let me just go ahead and take that position. I like the way we're just kind of hanging around, and I did, and it paid out, and that was great. So maybe something like that happens over here, or maybe it gets like a nuke bomb, like it did over here these few times right here before bouncing up, or like this Valhalla candle right here before getting the breakdown. Seems to work pretty good with it. Look at the huge candles. It didn't work out so good right there. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's 211 to 202. So maybe 200. Maybe 200. Market likes to work with round numbers. It's Amazon and Alphabet. I'm just going to brag about this. Not because I did anything special on it, but because that little chart thing over there was showing me that there was some big whale activity, like some unusual activity. And when I could see the amount of money that had poured into it, I was like, okay. And it was showing, I don't know how long this would take. And it was on point. It was like about 2 days before they announced that Warren Buffett bought in. So that was pretty good, I would have to say. Now, does it happen? Right now, we keep getting rejected right here around the euphoria. We did, I think I moved this. I think I moved this the other day. It was still right in here. It didn't move much. It was maybe like $1 or something like that. I know it didn't move too much, um, because it moves. It does. It moves, right? Um, but we did break down below. Um, Harmony right here, but we reclaimed it pretty quickly, so that's good. If we do come back down, and I will be looking for us to land somewhere here around 280, somewhere around here, around this trend line, 280. I could move this trend line right here. This is actually coming from a 16-hour. I'm sorry. I think I do this off a 16-hour chart. Yeah, I do it off a 16-hour chart because you can see the points right here. So it's coming from a 16-hour chart, which is why it looks a little bit off, through here. We're gonna do it off a 16-hour chart, and I thought about taking this point right here into account. I'm gonna leave it as it is for now. I usually like to move it though. Once I see us, disrespect a little bit the trend line, I like to move it a little bit. I'm just gonna leave it as such. But you really want to see price manage to break out of here successfully above 300, break above 300 successfully. Then you can be eyeing that 335 here for Alphabet. If it doesn't break out of that successfully, perhaps another pullback. Big money doesn't care. I mean, big money sees the future, you know, much later down the road, years down the road. So when they buy, it's not like they're like, a week from now, we're going to be here and they're going to sell it. It's not like that. So it doesn't matter if price pulls back down here for them. That doesn't matter because their view is long term. I was listening to a speech from Warren Buffett. What's the channel? Warren Buffett Education or something like that. Something like that. But anyway, he was talking, and when he was saying long term, I'm thinking just a few years. And this man says a decade. And I'm like, hell no. I just can't do it. I guess because I come from crypto. And everything moves fast. So me sitting here thinking that's just not me. And I'm just real with who I am. I mean, people have held Bitcoin for a long time, but it's just not the same for me. It's just not the same. And then the stock market be closed on weekends and close early it closes, 4 o'clock and oof, and me sitting here thinking about 10 years, and that is just a decade. But that's his mindset, and that's why he's a billionaire and I'm not. Because that's his mindset. A decade. Now, something like Bitcoin, holding for a decade, I guess if you can see the outlook, a decade, great. If, they're saying it's going to go to $1 million, I don't know. I'm not thinking $1 million, but I would hold it. I would hold Bitcoin for that. Just because I've seen how well Bitcoin performs and, and it's fast. Like I said, I come from crypto, so me sitting here thinking a decade, that just don't sit well with me. But that's what he said. He said a decade. That was just the gold again, and then back over here to Nvidia. Yeah. Let me hood, because I always take a look at hood too, and I look at hood from the daily. It look like a double bottom right there too. But I'm still looking here around this $100 right here. That is it's my target. Actually, don't let me move that out because yeah, I'm still looking here. fact, let me. That will make me a liar again, because I did buy hood at 125. I did buy hood at 125. I think it was. Hold on. I know it was 125. Oh, it was over here. We was over here. I bought hood at 125. I said 125 to 120 was probably as low as it was going to go right now. And I'm still holding that. And I'm saying my next target is going to be $100, which means I am buying hood as it drops. It's just a different business. It's a different business. Circle is another crypto project. I'm just making up stuff right now, I guess, because Amazon is a great company, a great company. But it was meant to be a trade. It was meant to be a trade, and I just didn't want to round trip that trade and get stuck in my head that I'm just gonna hold down because it was meant to be a trade. But yeah, I am accumulating Robinhood as well. So 125 was my first entry. I skipped 120, even though I figured price could get down to 120, and I'm not buying in here either. So we're in between. Like we either come back up and put me back in profit, or we drop down lower and then I pick up again. So I won't do like, let's just say you buy, let's say I bought 5 hood at 125. If price come down here to 100, I'm not looking to buy another 5 hood. I'm looking to buy 10 because I have to get that price down. So I have to be able to pick up double what I initially bought into. Now I see a lot of people do that where they'll buy 5 and then they'll say they'll buy 5 again. Okay. And so now my price is like somewhere in the center. I need for that to drop down a lot more. I need for my average cost to come down a bit more. So that would be me buying double whatever I bought up here. And say if I'm waiting on price to come down here to 60, I need to be able to buy I guess 4 times what I bought right here because I need to get that price target down. I need to get my average cost down. I want to be somewhere in the middle, and then all of a sudden, I'm putting in I'm buying the same amount, and then I'm just back up here. I'm not gonna do that, and I didn't do that with Circle. With Circle, what I ended up doing was I put in the same amount each time I bought, and that just wasn't the move. I need to be able to get that price down. Why is that off? Ever so slightly. That is off, but that's okay. It must come from a weekly time frame. So that's how I'm gonna do it. And I'm not buying anything where I can't afford to do that at the moment. So that's how it's gonna go with hood. Double, double what I bought. If price gets down here to the 100, I can't guarantee we come to the 100. I just know that 100 is a place of interest for me. If that happens, right now price is going up, and it may not come down right now. It may not come down right now. We'll see how things switch around, which is fine. That'll just put me back in profit. Um, put wall 115 and call wall 120. It's basically where price has been kind of hemorrhaged between. It's possible. And this might be me exaggerating um, into something much more bearish, but this is definitely possible right here. This 100. But first, we would have to. Yeah, that's very possible. Now, these strikes that I'm looking at right now, I'm not seeing it right now, but what I'm looking at is days to expiration, about 15 days to expiration. So I'm gonna be looking for this still. Uh, yeah, I'll leave that red. Not that I really like this. I'm gonna put it in here, but I don't really. No, I'm not gonna put that one in there. It's that, and then there is my 100. So and there is my 100. Like I said, this could be me just over exaggerating. But these are big to the downside and below 120 because max pain is around 118. So what am I doing? And we're slightly above this one right now. Max pain is 118 for hood, and then you start to get more into. Let me see. No, sorry. Max pain is 127. 127 is max pain. My bad. 127. We're at 121. So max pain is right in here. But to the downside, these. Then you don't start to hit. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with these three right here. It's kind of loud, though. I'm going to go back and change that. The coloring is really loud. Uh-oh. Maybe if I do that. It just seems real loud. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So that's what I'm watching right here. And my final destination there. It's not a lot to the upside coming into December. There is 130, and then there's 140 also. 130, 140. Those some good numbers to the upside. So if we do anything like that, I'll probably TP out because it's too high up here for me to. Yeah, it would be too much up here. I think hood is a bit overpriced, and then of course you can see all the bearish divergence on price action coming up, which is why I was so adamant about price coming down some once I actually looked at it again. Um, yeah, it just tons of bear divs through here. So bear div through here. Um, the bear divs that were through here as well. So just yeah. Didn't bleed off too much more after it got that. Not too much more. For stock market, I'm assuming that that's probably a lot, but I just think it's overvalued in here. I'm gonna get into coin another day because I have a absolutely different chart what we call the top here on coin. So I have a different chart for this. This is not the correct pane, and I don't really feel like trying to find it right now. But I will get into coin another day. The S&P 500 isn't can't do anything with that pre. I did. I'll tell you what I did over here though with Meta because I told you I was long on Meta. Um, when we started to sell off a little bit more yesterday before Nvidia, I went ahead and took a small L on Meta. I took a small loss on Meta, and once I could see that we were gonna, it was gonna start cooling off a little bit down in here. Here where you have your bandwidth one here. That's the green you're seeing pop up across here from your VWAP, and also where I have like you can't tell. It looks. It's the thing that kind of irritates me with stock market. But you can see where you have that bandwidth one. You can see that pivot high that we were looking at here, which chart was I looking at when I did that? Yeah, okay, so 3 month. I was looking at this 3 month, a little pivot high in here as well. And what else did I assess with this? Let me go back to an ascending trend line in here. If you're looking at it from the lower time frame, it looked like we I have this white line in here on top of this one. Must have been while I was trying to figure out why I stopped myself out at or something. It looks like we tapped it right here. I jumped back into the long position there. Hopefully by the time the market does open, I can close it out because they won't let me touch it. And it pumped up here. They won't let me touch it until market opens. And this is on BTCC. They won't let me touch it. You can't do anything. I started to close it out yesterday when market closed, but I knew it was going to pump up here a little bit more. And I was like, well, maybe by the time market opens, I can get back to it. I already have my stop loss in place anyway, but still, if the market opens and it's below my stop then I'll be out of a little bit more money again, and I'm in profit right now. So I'm hoping the market opens and it stays up here. Price stays somewhere around here, but I'm still not feeling it right now. Just because, like I said, it's getting a little bit. I don't know. And I keep looking at this. Volatility did turn down yesterday, but still, the selling pressure is still here. Selling pressure is still here for Meta, and if it's not bouncing away, then I'm afraid that it might actually tip over and see a pretty hard crash on it. Now, the bands are not. They're not tight, but that never stops price from actually moving through there. It can still drop down below here. But the bands are not tight, which for me indicates some sort of a correction. Volume is not high in here anymore either. Like, you had a big volume spike in here. Of course, that was the day of earnings. And it wasn't necessarily the earnings so much that caused the price action to drop. Not even the tax situation. It wasn't that. It was just their plans for the call centers and how much money they're looking at investing on that, which, gives this sort of feeling over here. So this I'm thinking that this right here could happen, and I don't like that. That could happen. And it's probably going to be my last trade on it. I also took a position in it beforehand too, and it was I think it was in here. I think it was in here. Yeah. In fact, I know it was in there. Yeah, it was in here. It was this little bounce right here. It was in here. It was before it got down to here, because I was gonna because it got such a strong reaction there. I said if it lost it and it came down to here, I would probably add. But when it got here, it got no reaction, which is why it reads no add, no add there, and just kill the trade altogether. But we've hit the measure move here from the what I call Siamese twin head and shoulders right here. We already hit the measure move for that. Whatever orders that could be seen on the dark pool, which was around 588. I think that's what I shared with you, about 588. I don't even know if I put those. I know I had notes in here. Yeah, I did. I had notes in here. Where I put 586. 586 dark pool. 586. Yeah. And that's where this right here came into play. But I had a notation under this. So you can see that's at 586.15. I had a notation under that. And let me see where we hit. Oh, I got it locked down. I had to hide it off to the side. Yeah, so it did do that 586. But I had a notation underneath it, and it was only on a reclaim, which it hasn't done anything like that. I think that is what I did put in here for that. But that was initially, because they got that strong reaction right there and volume started to cool. It was like, okay, maybe they just want to hit this level anyway. But when we got here, we got no reaction. So I had put in here that my original note was to add to entry and move stop for a 5-to-1. But then I went in here up, added this little box over here and said no add, no wick on that daily. It was absolutely that shave bottom right there. It was no. That shave bottom said, "Ooh, it's coming. It's absolutely coming." But I tried early. Yeah, I'm always gonna try early. And this kind of like Biddy, it's only hitting the 5 EMA at the moment. So we could start to see this round out a little bit. we could. This is far off from anything in here, but I could do, because it can. I wouldn't do it until what I'm doing right now is just a quick little scalp, even with the bullish divergence down through here. You can see that bear div right there. And that was what we started getting over here. Oh, you can't see it now because, hold on. That's what we started doing back through here. We started putting in bear divs and we continued to roll over. So I wouldn't play around with this, especially if it got down here and it lost that line. I wouldn't play around with it because this could start to create bearish divergence and just continue to push down. RSI is relative weakness. It is in relative weakness, extreme fear right now. It's in extreme fear right now. So I wouldn't be adding to this. Big spread in here. You can see over here how you start to close out that spread, but a big spread over here too. Yeah, I don't like that. I thought maybe after that little bounce right there that, maybe they wouldn't come back down here for that wick, but they did. And, I'm not going to think any differently about that one. The indicators are showing that it's more selling pressure, even though it did cool off just a little bit yesterday. It's still showing that there's more selling pressure. The volume is down. Volume is down. That's the only reason why I took that little. Volume is down. Volume is down. Don't play with it below here. It's not financial advice. I just wouldn't. Like, save your money and wait. Save your money and wait. These are gap fills. These boxes right here, those are just gap fills. Gaps. You can't see the gaps because it's on extended hours. If I take it off extended hours, you'll see that these are gaps. And so this was all supposed to be confluence for that golden pocket, dark pool area, all that good stuff. We'll see. We shall see. You can see the little break above this here. And you can see how we came back in and tapped it. So I did. I snipered that little long entry there yesterday. And this is just a 1 hour time frame, but I snipered that little long entry there. But if the market don't open up fast enough, it's gonna be all for nothing because they're not gonna take my profit. They're not gonna do any of that. If it's down here when market opens, I'm just out of it. I'm out of it. That's it. Out of money again. S&P 500. It looks like we did get a little bit of a back test here of where we got our little breakdown at. I think we also had, what did we have? I know we had the 60, and that's one that I admire a lot. When you break below it, it can, that's usually my starting point for a line in the sand. Is when you break that 60, it increases your chances of getting down here into this zone right here. And you can see I might have had to readjust this. What am I using? Monthly. I'm using a 1 month. I was trying to see if I had it on over here. I don't have it in there, but I am using a 1 month. This is your euphoria line right here. So I just be looking, like I said, if that rejection holds up and we're below the 60, it's hard to tell where S&P is until market opens because you can't even after hours data on this one right here. No, you can't even after hours data on it. So I'm just looking for price to get down into here. You have your harmony line right here at 64.13, which might be off and on ever so slightly. That doesn't really matter. This zone in here, 64 to 62 is what I'm looking for, along with the 200 EMA in here as well on a first move down in here. Like I said, there is something in the charts that indicate that we might be back down here. I know that there is a trend line that runs down through here. I used to have it in here for S&P. It might still be in here somewhere. It might still be. Um, I don't know. I haven't looked back at any of my stuff in here in a long time. So I don't know. I don't know. I know I had it in here because I remember calling for this one right here the first time too. Um, so we'll see. It does suggest that we would end up back in here. I'm gonna look back at Bitcoin, which we're in the same spot at the moment. The momentum line in there, I missed that little thing right there. Um, See, that looks less like head and shoulder than what the Solana chart was looking like. It looks like less than that. So, and I could probably see that from here. It is trying to hold that. I like how it's supporting right here on this 40. I like how it was doing that. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Last time I was talking about up, we didn't get up. So we'll be careful with that right now. That is the indication here for this time frame. It's pretty tight in here to the zero line, which is great. It's not like it's moving away from it like over here. It's not like that situation, or like over here. Like it's still close to it right now, and it can go either way. It can go either way because even right here, you can see we're squeezing through here, and we still got that drop down. We actually crossed below here. We're up above it right now. So, yeah, I mean, you're in the middle of the range anyway. I wouldn't be saying to you get long here in the middle of the range. And if it breaks above here, then sure, that might be a place to do it. You still be coming into resistance. You can see how, you know, it's tapped out through here. See, it still be coming into resistance, but potentially able to get up here. I didn't show you the Bitcoin trade that I took because I did snipe a Bitcoin. And I closed it out so quick though. It's all good. I closed it out super quick. So 88,657 is where I ended up getting in. So that was down here off the wick. That was down there off this wick. I got in that baby. It hit that trend line. I was like, oh yeah. So I could have kept it open and not been afraid or anything like that. But I was like, what's the chances of it taking my wick out right away? I don't know. I might this get above here? Just out of curiosity, it did. Oh, did that line up with any one of these? I don't like that. So yeah, it would need to bounce away from here. It would need to break above here. Right now, it would need to break above here. It's underneath everything right now. So it's more of a, I want to say it's a squeeze right now. Yeah, it's a squeeze right now. It looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Hold on. Uh, I probably would have already been in this if I was doing it based on yeah, I probably would have already been in this. It would have um failed. And sometimes that happens, but the good news is you would have seen it holding there as support. As a back test. So it's already done like a failed swing up or whatever. And and back tested that. So it's holding it as support. And then probably wherever it lands in here, I'm gonna turn this one off for just a minute. Yeah. Do that like that. Yeah. So back test held that support. Yeah, likely breakout. But you would immediately come into some sort of resistance. And it's probably gonna be that looked like it would break here. It would break that 92.2 and maybe back into that 92.5. Maybe back into that 92.5. Whatever you do, I wouldn't take it at resistance. You don't want to try to take it at resistance. You need to see it clear resistance. And I think that, let me just put this back on, just, help identify some of this resistance in here. You want to be above the resistance, above these lows in here. above those lows and above the resistance in here, because this could be a failed breakout initially. It can just come into here and reject right there, because all of this is resistance right now. All of this. So as a breakout trader, I'm just saying that yeah, it could fail with all of this resistance in here. Turn these off so we can just see that last point right there. Let me just see that one. And Zcash is still holding that golden pocket from earlier. It hasn't dropped down just yet. It hasn't even created that other shoulder for that potential for that head and shoulder play just yet either. I like the bullish divergence in here on the volatility, which means, I mean, we have to have a volatile move. It can't be going this slow, because if it's going this slow, it can put in a bear diff instead. But aside from that, I mean, I do like the bullish divergence in here from that. It just cannot go this slow. It cannot. I'm going to set this back and turn this off. Oh, you know what? Let me just, I did one to the downside. And actually, I didn't. I did, this right here, but I said that could also be something different. It doesn't. But let me, Don't know, ever want to be too conceited that I don't consider the possibility of something else. It would have to be above here, though. I don't know when that would happen. It would have to be above here, though. Okay. Whatever that trend line used to be. And that could still work even if price came back. This is such a better entry. Such a better entry. But that could still work if that did happen. I would never consider this, but let me just see what that measures up to. No, I would never consider that. All right, here we go. You got a 50 on your RSI up there. The way I do my other indicators, it'll tell me to go long. Not from the 50, but it would at least give me like a green dot down here. I just know, just price action. So I'm try to focus more on that right now. I would have to have an indicator encourage me to. I mean, this right here would have done it for me. I couldn't do it. Not this one. And I don't want to overtrade because otherwise I could have kept that open. Can it make it? This is gonna be where that 20 is at too. Let me just. I'm trying to think if I want to do this. I know I don't want to buy it into resistance. Just trying to think if I want to do it. Maybe on a break and retest above here. And I'm talking about above here. If it does something like that, then yeah, I'll definitely I get in on a back test of it. I'm not gonna get in though right here because I don't want to jump into this breakout. And like I said, know that resistance is sitting in here. Even though this could be the makings of something beautiful, I'm just hide that for now. I'm gonna hide that too for now. And this was just where the golden pocket was at prior. It is still up. Let me check this. Nah. That's a little bear div. I'm gonna need for it to come back to want to enter it myself, or like I said, a back test maybe, because this can be invalidated. The indecision right there. The indecision right at that momentum. Oh, that candle just opened. Just opened. Mm-hmm. A small reaction. $93.60. Where's that at? I just need to see what that is at. Okay. 193, 160. No wonder. So above here invalidates the bear div on the 4 hour time frame, but right now that bear div is, still pending. That would break. I guess that would create this a breakup or at least a shoulder over here if it did manage to get up in here too. Breaks above here, invalidate the bear div. Uh, Possible little inverse head and shoulder. Maybe today is a better day, and we don't see our target down here. And that's how that would have to go in order to not see the lower target. It sucks to have to pick a side. And this matters because we're in the middle of the range. It's not like down here, we were at lows, but here we're in the middle of the range. So, like I said, I will enter this, but it'd have to be a break and back test. It has to clear the resistance. It's plenty of it. Deribit, which is going to change continuously. Like they show you like a price range depending on where price is with the strikes. And right now, their price range is between 94,000 and 90,000. I think it's stupid to enter here, but I feel like doing some stupid stuff right now. I really do feel like doing some stupid stuff right now. Let me see how much I would be at a loss for if I did act stupid. Um, I'll have to set that for a limit. I just wanted to see. I did some stupid stuff. What's that low? 9163. How was that even possible? Is that what that was? Let me look at that again. No, I can't be stupid. I have to wait. Huh. That didn't seem right. I actually think it's going to make it. I think it's going to manage to get above here. I'm going to wait though. I want it to be stupid. I'm going to wait. I don't think that it can. It's supposed. I don't think that it should. Let me put this right here. It's going to look different, slightly different. I think that's the last line of defense. It's somewhere like something like that for the lows. Thank goodness I didn't get stupid and I stuck to the idea of it having to actually break above here and back test. I would have instantly been out of some capital. Now I will get interested right here though, because it's not up here at the resistance. Yeah, it was showing that it has to bounce, it has to hold here and be able to bounce away from here. It's going to confirm as a bear div if it doesn't. Yeah. I'm going to drop this. And actually below here doesn't matter, so I'm just going to drop the whole thing. And this is actually lined in the sand too. It's actually the 618. If price doesn't manage to get that bounce away from here and it drops down into here, 618 is a must hold on price coming back down. I'm looking at it and I'm seeing that in the chart. This is a must hold right now, at least by way of that 4 hour time frame. So below this 618 would be danger. Be danger. So if anything like that happens and it comes down below here, you really want to wait for it to reclaim that and then attempt to move away from it. But you don't want to. I don't know if I would. Hmm. Yeah, we would have to see it. Really want to see it hold on the first move. Yeah, you really want to see it hold on the first move because at least then it'll keep price from getting pinned up under resistance. It'll be that exactly. It'll keep it if it just tapped it. If it comes down here and just taps it and moves away, it'll keep it from getting pinned up under resistance. Because if it breaks lower than that, then you could start hitting that as resistance. And I can see that. Yeah, they'll probably push price down further below that too. I'm gonna move this one out of the way. I'm actually just gonna remove it, period, and just use that. And that's just that. Let me check on Zcash, which is just still sitting in the same spot for now. I think the market, we're just waiting for market open. We got some data today, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we do. We do. So Nvidia helped us yesterday. It really did yesterday. Like I said, biggest company in the world reporting earnings and the whole situation with tariffs and China. Um, with the Nvidia chips and all that good stuff, how that was going to affect things. That helped yesterday. It doesn't mean it helps today. So, and you can already see Nvidia prices being pinned. It's being pinned into those, keeping it close to those strike prices. The fear in the market about the Fed rate cut. Um, so we do have some data coming out. Unemployment rate, unemployment claims, tentative, but they're still saying that this is probably not going to be good. Uh, yeah. And no, I'm not going to be on here, Pat. Up to that time where we do get that information. So I'm just going to run through this right here before I get out of here. Now we just talked about this part right here. Um, Bitcoin has to be able to hold this low right here. It starts to break that momentum here on the 15-minute time frame below this point right here. Then on the 4 hour, you have this one. Now you will end up hitting some resistance trying to get a bounce away from here. You will. It won't be the resistance down here. Like you'll have space to move. You will actually have some space to move if price comes into here and it gets the bounce from here. Below here, you might run into some problems of hitting resistance down below, but you will also, again, you would break. It'll be bearish sentiment below here. I guess that's a easy. I don't know if that's an easier way for me explaining it, but what I'm seeing is in terms of momentum, it lies right here. That's why I took off the golden pocket 786 information, because you start to look at that as sometimes you talk yourself into holding um, when this is going to be your dead point right here, where you may get extra selling pressure below here. Here, at least you have a shot at an inverse head and shoulder, either this one or this one right here. You have something. Um, This isn't looking too good right here, though, because you're just slamming right into resistance, resistance, resistance. Maybe if it keeps chopping through here, then perhaps that's 15 minutes. And just jump straight over here to the 4 hour instead. Um, it hasn't been validated, but you can still see that there is the bear div right here between price action here and here. With the RSI, you have the bear div. Volatility, you have the bear div. Um, Even with Delta and MACD, you have the bear div right in here. Even though these are both positive at the moment, you still have the bear div in here. So could be a rejection. Or 90. I can unhighlight this one. It's not the biggest monster anymore. It is this one. 786. There's also some support down through here as well. In the event that we do continue to move down, let's just say we come back in here, back testing here. Don't forget that trend line in here too. You can drop that trend line in here too and look for that to get supported long before it even comes down into this right here. We would really have to nuke off of some data to get down in here today. We'll put it on that one this time. Remember, it was on this one yesterday, and you can see how it held pretty good. And just because it broke it, I'm just going to slide it down to here. And just so it's easier for me to move these around if I have to. And then where this was at, let me just see what that was. We're looking to avoid 90 altogether. But in the event that that doesn't happen over there on that 15-minute time frame, when you zoom out, if that doesn't happen, then yeah, just start to look down here at the trend line here. See if we can't hold here again on any sort of a move down. And then if we don't manage to hold in here, and you really want to zoom out, because I mean you can pierce it and start to get scared. So just like it pierced it right here. The other thing I was looking at over here is 8 hour Bollingers actually. Because on the 8 hour, it was moving in between 8 hour, it was holding the low of the Bollinger. It's holding the low here. So price action has been in between these 2 points right here. This is starting to, volatility is starting to cool off a little bit in here now too. So that's what I was looking at in here. Especially if it drops in here and no expansion, that means it's a weak low. Price action would just be putting in a weak low. There'd be nothing behind the move. So that can really work. And if it doesn't, and open interest is down here, it is with that 786. And that's the most important thing I can say to watch in here on the chart. Yeah, 15 and 4 hour, 15 and 4 for Bitcoin. Zcash is really doing nothing right now. It's just been sitting right here forever. This is just in the event that it does get a head and shoulder. It does match up with coming back down here into this area. I don't know how well a second bounce in here is going to work. But it's worth an attempt, in my opinion. If it looks stable, it's worth an attempt. And if not, then I don't, well, we are making higher lows right now. We are making higher lows. I haven't considered this point right here. So yeah, if it's going to continue along this path of higher lows, golden pocket, even if it breaks here, perhaps the 786, and you can always wait to see if it'll reclaim here, because that was something with the initial drop down as well. It broke here and then it reclaimed back above it. So you can always do that. That's that low to this low now. That creates this. So yeah. That could work if price is going to come down on this thing. If it is, there's nothing left in here now except if it taps to 886, then it's likely going to come up here and take out that other high that was in here. It could. You can turn on your 886. It's actually this high and not this one. But they're so close together, right? Uh-oh. Where did I just move? C1. It will have a bear div if it tries to push up again. It looks like it would just bear div. We're not getting outside of we're not pushing up high enough right now. We're staying below 70. We're staying below 70. Yeah, this could be a breaking point. Support or break. This part in here still looks decent. But if you were interested in getting long, I wouldn't do it anywhere in here. I will wait to see if you get a pullback. Otherwise, just sit on your hands. Even if it pumps against you and has to come back down to the same area, sit on your hands. It's just not a good place to want to. It's not a good place, in my opinion. I can't tell people what to do with their money. I just don't see it as a good place. I guess you could use the lows in here as a stop. Yeah, I guess you can use that as a stop. Mm. 680 right now. So we're around one. Let's do one. And both of these, if we're getting past this point, so we've been pinned in between about just about here, in here. 692, 656. Is 656 in here? No, that would be below this. Okay, below our daily range. Okay. Okie dokie. I mean, your high point of value, if it gets there, it is going to be somewhere right about in here. 726 and 752 at right here. It would be somewhere around here. I was using this yesterday to help me with where I probably want to enter and take profit and all that good stuff. So I was using it yesterday. And you're in harmony on your 2-day time frame. And some of this may have changed ever so slightly. Um, I haven't checked these numbers today. But they still match up pretty good. It's already done all of that, so I can remove that one too. And based on this daily low, okay, let's see, based on the daily low. Nah, guess he could. Yeah, I guess you could just set a stop for there, and then you'd be looking for it to get up in here, maybe somewhere right about in here, and possibly up here. So this, yeah, you're buying the highs though. Just, I mean, as long as you know that. Yeah, you will be buying the highs. I'm gonna go back over here to Bitcoin. You know who we didn't look at today? We did not look at let's see, because we were looking at uni, right? How's it doing right now? See that? See what I said? If they drop it again, they're gonna take this out because you got that relatively equal low liquidity down here. And that's exactly what they did before bouncing it back up. Took that liquidity down here. Which one am I using over here? Weekly. As long as you can stay in here, you're all right. It's starting to get worse down here. This is a huge range. It just is. It's not necessarily the range per se, but what's more important to me is the high of it and the low of it. But sometimes it does um, deviate. And this matters right now. You lose that, then you be back down here somewhere. And still respecting it for the most part. You're back on your top side of your range as well. And that was that huge bear div. Yeah, you got to hold where you're at right now. That's for sure. Here on the daily time frame, you're just slightly above your 20 SMA here, holding right here at this 69.90. Yeah, $6.99 right here. You lose that, it's probably more so like, well, a lot of times it lines up with this. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, it's right here. Yeah, just had to double check. It's right here. You break your momentum here. What gave you this nice girthy candle here to the upside? All those buyers that came in right here that did that will no longer be interested in. Yeah, be nothing right here if you break that. So kind of far away from it right now. We'll have to say up here. That's 674 at the moment for your 20. Then I just watched that big candle. If you're into to uni, I didn't like that bear div that uni got. So um, the most it could do for me, you see how it was rejecting off of that 200. The most it could do for me is just put in another bear div, in my opinion. But it's sideways right now. When you see it like this, it's in a squeeze. Some sort of a volatile move is going to take place. I don't see, yeah, the volatility range is huge right here. So uh, you can be back here to the upside, or down here to the downside, because the range is pretty large. I don't know what it actually looks like on the Bollinger itself. Yeah, so you don't have any sort of a squeeze or anything. I didn't see that down there either. I didn't see it here either. Just a wide range of volatility, so it can go in either direction. When did this happen? Yesterday? Monero? And this was in the event that it did get the break to the upside, which it did not. It's invalidated now. And it got the breakdown and into the support one right here. We'll move this now. Just set it like that. I actually don't like that I moved it. I'm gonna just leave it organically like it was before. Hold on, where is this drawn from? Let me just delete that. Got a huge range in between here. I'm not saying Monero is going to come all the way back down here to 200 and something bucks. Just saying it's a huge range down through there. That was the resistance. Drop these. Yeah, just going to drop them. We're nowhere near it. It's already broken, that one. That was a clean break. I just used this one instead for that line up there. Monero. And momentum is dropping more and more here because you could do one across here, and then you could also be a fast little break. But it's declining, so I would look for it to continue down. It is declining. You got a lower low, lower high. Yeah, I would look for it to continue down some. So instead of putting it on price action, I'll put it here on the RSI. Okay. I don't really like these ones, to be honest. I don't think I really paid attention to when we finally hit this. We had not hit this the last time I was looking at it. We had not hit it yet. I don't know. I can't remember if we hit it or not, but we hit it. 50. What is this? Why does that look like that? That's wrong. 50%. What was I looking at here to make me say possibly go up? Oh, potential inverse head and shoulder. That's what that was. I can see it now. That's what that was. That's all. Oh, yeah, we had not determined where it would actually. No, that's coming down. Yeah, that didn't happen. That did not happen. Horizon. I've not looked at this in a minute. I can tell now. When I say a minute, it's probably just Tuesday. No, this is still in here. This is not from this time frame, apparently. Can't be. I don't know. I don't know why this looks like that though. It's been a good support area so far. Resistance, support, 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 support. Come back, it might not hold. Might actually want to feel that wick in. If it comes back, you can assume that maybe you get a head and shoulders right here. Don't mean it plays out just like that. Inverse didn't play out. At least it gives you something to account for. Looks like a good place though. Resistance, resistance, support. I'll just leave it right here. I think this was a previous day low. That's way off. The first one would be this one. So I'm just going to put it on that. Just in case it does decide to do like an SFP or something like that. It's trying to hold. That was this wick. Looks like it will break down from here before it actually, before it even got down there to that point. It would break. It would break below here before it got to this wick right here. I don't think something like that could play out. I think they would put this at like 0 or something. So I'm not saying this is happening. I'm just, I think that would put this at 0. That would be crazy. This is not happening. Yeah, we did already. I think we had already looked at that one time. You do it like that. That makes a little bit more sense. It's more sensible. maybe in a bad bear market. Maybe in a bad bear market. What is this? 366. I mean, if it even broke down from there. Anyway, probably entertain that idea some other time. But that was what we was using to determine. I think we probably did it from like a 4 hour or something, but that was what we was using to determine what we probably see a rejection at. Turns out we could just use the 50. Only one I like is Zcash. I've been looking at these just because people are on the narrative of them performing well, but you can also just pull your fib and see how that works. I don't know how well this respects fib levels. So let's see. Golden Pocket 786. Golden Pocket 786. So I like 786 a little bit more to a full range. 786 will be right here. I suppose it respects it. $786 looks like a winner. It's a nice little pop up since we left here. I guess. I guess. Possible. Be overextended up here, but that's possible. So this likely won't happen. We were waiting on the right shoulder to build out to say that we had a head and shoulder. If it stalls out and doesn't take out the high, then you can look back at that. If it takes out the high, then it's likely, I think it's a higher chance of it, taking out those two local highs that are in here. But what we looked at earlier has a chance. Has a chance. Oh, if you use your 2 day two for Zcash, at least until it doesn't work anymore, your 2 day is moving pretty solidly. Hopefully I can do this without having to. I can't. Oh yeah, I just hide all my drawings. If you look at your 2 day, that's why I did that. You see how your 2 day stays in here? You can measure for your low. Now this one right here did overshoot a bit, but that lined up with I think the daily at that time when I was looking at it, because when it did the 20 SMA right here on the daily, but 2 day moves very well in harmony here. That's why it reads that on that chart that I have, harmony. And you can see how it bounced off of that again. So yeah, I will use my 2 day on this, and you can see where that high is coming in up here. Same thing as what I'm looking at over on the other time frame. That 700 range, taking out the two little peaks right here, this one and then this one right here. That's very doable. So we know that it can actually reach there. Um, if it wants to, it can definitely reach that. Be over, I mean, I don't want to call it overextended, but definitely in euphoria up here. If it manages to push outside of this band, if it manages to do that, it could just tap that high and reject. Can't just tap that and reject. But like you were seeing, what I was showing over there with VWAP. So I'm using VWAP and I'm using the 4 hour BB. I think I'm using 4 on Zcash. But that's my notation to you. You can utilize your 2 day to find where your potential support and resistance might come at. This is something that I would do quite often. Um, Let me just take that out of the way again. Turn all that off for a sec. I would do something like this. And you see this on my chart from time to time. I would do something like that. Like this would have been beforehand. Before prices came back, I would have did something like that. Drop that and then drop to my lower time frame. See how clean that tap is? For that support on that pullback for that particular day when prices decided to roll over. And then that's close to that peak up there. It's close to that. And then, I mean, you just want to do this one time, because that 2 day doesn't end until when 10 hours. So after this little 11 hours, or just say 11 hours is up, that's going to move. Those bands are going to shift. And then you can go back and look at it and readjust that. And you just use that. Like if you get a pullback, because it's been moving so well, and that's how many times you could have taken a long off of Zcash, because it's moving so well within that band. Like that's how many times you could have did that. I don't like to overtrade. And I just started trading Zcash. Like I just started trading it. Otherwise, I haven't wanted to be a part of this thing. And that's how many times it popped down in here and you could have taken it, got long off of it. Just saying. Just find where your harmony is. Find where you see this right here happening on any chart, where you see it standing between these two right here. And just use that. Use that to your advantage. And if it overshoots, just find where, it might. Like you probably could have looked at this one and said, I'm going to outline that as an example. I'm going to outline this one right here as an example. Like you could probably use that. Otherwise, yeah, just wherever it stays in here. I prefer it like that, where it stays in here versus coming back to 20. Because sometimes if it comes back to 20, then it can be shooting for one again. can be shooting for one. Clean. Just find it as clean as you can get it. See that tap and rejection right there at 708 is what it, let's see. The high was 706. It'll sniff around it. This will move too. Like closer you get to it, it'll it'll move on you just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because that's what they do. That's what they do. Let's see what 4 look like. You're not tapping it on 4. So 4 is a little bit too much. And I know you're outside of it on monthly. Yeah, way outside of it on monthly. Once this thing does come down, though, it is going to come back below that. Just tell you right now, when it does, it will come back below wherever this is. It will come back into it because you don't stay deviated outside of it. Right now, this is still pointing down, so you good. But at some point, wherever this is, it's gonna come back below it. It always does. Always, always staying outside of it over here. So got a discrepancy right here. Let's see. Yeah, so your I like the 2 day. And you got the one tap right here on the 3 day, which you can probably consider that 516 or wherever that'll end up at if price was to come back down. But I definitely like the 2 day. All right, that's all I got to say. I'm going to get out of here. You can use this on anything. Let's see. Let's move down. Not a good example. Let's see if we can find harmony somewhere. That looked like that might have been it. So dash 5 day. 5 day. Let's see, 6 day. 5 day. 5 day. That'll have to be the one. So I think that was that what we were? Let me see. 786 is down here. And that's that daily that we were just looking at right there too. Let me see. Let me click on that. That's 69. Okay, so that's just no, that's 70. That's just slightly above what this is. So you can look for SFP right there. You can look for SFP right here on Dash. Let me turn those back off. Let's see. This one is out of it, but you can see how it came up for that reject. This is just kind of, this one's kind of wonky. I don't. Let's see if I can find it somewhere. It's not even. Yeah, I don't like this one. I don't like this one at all. This horizon. Yeah, just stick to the regular tech on this one. I really don't like when it comes back to the mean. A lot of times beforehand, you would see me never have that on, and I would always have it off like that because I really don't like it. I really like to stick between here and stick between here. I really don't like when it can't make a solid decision. I don't like it. Don't really. Yeah. Monero. I mean, it's starting to get a little worse as I go up, right? I don't want to go up. It's starting to get a little worse. It lost it right there. I guess I probably would have used this time frame right here, but this was a lot cleaner right here over this. So I don't really. Let me see. Let me try this other one. I just want to see. Eh. Maybe it's going to reclaim that 368, but if not, I'd definitely be looking down there towards that 333, somewhere down in here while all of this is happening at. Somewhere, somewhere in here. Let me turn that one back on. Yeah. I don't like this one either, though. Can't say I do. You don't always get a good one. You don't. Like I said, I don't like when I have to use the mean at all. Who else in here? Uni. This just got volatility everywhere. So that was good to the downside. And then once you break above, because at some point you're gonna break it. But as long as it's riding through here, I'll be playing with that. And then yeah, once it breaks it, I would have looked at that. I would have looked at that, and I would have looked at this point right here. That was a weak high. That's why that didn't work. We saw that. You had the bear div, first of all, had the bear div. And yeah, this is still sloping downwards. So right now it's holding up around that 50. I mean that 20 right there. Lose that 20. Yeah, I will start to look back in there. Only time you really want to start using how it stays within the range, the trap. The only way you want to use it is when you get a breakout. When you get a breakout and your bands V out, and I say this every time. I know I'm sorry, and your bands V out like that. And your bands do that, and price action breaks and closes outside of your standard deviation too, then likely price is going to start to respect that and stay and start to stay within those boundaries. Once you see how it breaks outside, like this one right here, didn't get that expand right here. You see how it expanded. When you get that after a breakout and a closure outside of it, that's when you start to stay in there. That's how you know. That's how you know. That can help keep you in a trade longer too. Or if you're just somebody that like to get in and out, you know, you can use that to your advantage. Who else is in here? That's Ethereum. You see that? It's in 3-day Ethereum. You see where we at? You see where we stand? Yeah, that's where we stand at. The downside trap. You don't have an expansion up here though. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that in here. Like how you had this fan out. You get that V shape. You get that fan out. Like I said, you break out. This fans out. That means it's explosive. And this closes outside of that. That's when you start to get stuck in here, and you just riding this baby all the way up. Fan out. Gets close out. Stuck in here. It didn't fan out here either. Just selling off. But this 3-day looks pretty sweet. Let me see what 2-day looks like. Yeah, 3-day looks better. It's a 4-day. So you see where you have to be above right now based on this 4-day. It's like 10 hours left in this. You gotta get up, gotta get out of here. Right now, you're stuck in between. You're stuck in between here. You know it's really bad when you're outside at the lows. That means don't fade the bearishness because it's trading outside the lows. Just means don't fade the pump when you're trading outside the highs. Don't fade the bearishness to the lows. But you're always going to come back. You're always going to come back in. You're always going to come back in. But this is where you want to get outside of here. At one point, it will break it. Just like over here. At some point, price will come up and break it. and then you start to do something different. That's ETH. Let's see, 4 day, 3 day or 4 day. They both work. I think I mean a little faster with a day shaved off. With a day shaved off, yeah. And if it breaks and it's still turned down like this, then you probably wouldn't be looking for any more than that, just like that. That's Ethereum. It's XRP right now on the 3 day. That's Solana, but I like that. I like that. 3 day. Let me just see what 2 day look like. 3 day. Wherever your harmony is, just go with it. Crow. Sui. You can use the 3 a day on those too. This was just, I mean, oh yeah, also too, when your bands are spread like this, that means that's all the room. That's a lot of room to drop. When you spread like that, that means you have a wide range of volatility. So with something like this, if it broke this right here, it has a wide range of volatility to push up through here if it wanted to. Okay, I use them as TPs, but when they're spread apart like that, like you have a lot of room to move your volatility range. And you can see that too from just plotting like I do with the trend lines. Oh, it's already on there. My bad. How I do with the trend lines. Like you can spot your range of volatility with just doing that too. Wherever your last place of, because we had one in here before, it actually broke. It broke that. So I like to trail every time momentum shifts higher. Then I would have put one through that every time momentum shifts higher. But yeah. This it's already played out. It didn't go to the upside. That's why I just closed that one out. But this probably don't have anything right now. Maybe lower. Maybe lower. Let's see. 16. Is it daily? Not really. It's not. It's not the cleanest. It's not the cleanest. It's not the worst either. It's not the worst either. Yeah, that didn't show up a few minutes ago. Our trend line we got through here. So it's holding this. I'd be looking forward to push up. Looking forward to push up. It's not the cleanest though. Okay, maybe 2 day. 2 day. Because it tapped it and it rejected. So 2 day. Go with that 2 day. All right, I said I was getting out of here. I just wanted to run through a couple of these and see what it was looking like. Height, because it did already break above here. Sometimes it'll come back and it'll find somewhere in here of holding. So it's going through here right now. The mean and SD1 right there. The mean and SD1. Let me see what that is for. I probably don't have a notation in here for it. I figured I wouldn't. That's what I do sometimes. Don't add notation, so I don't know why I put that line right there. Anyway, who is this? Aster. we haven't come to that yet. Because we were looking at this Tuesday, probably. It's probably Tuesday. Pump. That's all you got to do, pump. Let's see. And this thing got beat up, and it was never touching. It was never touching this before. This suggests that it pumps to the upside. It absolutely does suggest that it pumps up, that that pump actually pumps, right? Um, Want to see that spread. Want to see that spread out though. Want to see this right here though. Want to see that fan. Because right now this is, I mean, it's trying to shift gears a little bit. And move up a rank. 3-day on link. 3-day on chain link, as we are in the bearish control zone, and we have our little line through here anyway already. The one for the upside anyway. And the reason why I like using Bollingers too, not just for the volatility, but just because with moving averages in general, you usually don't see or find support below you. It's until after the fact, after prices moved, you really don't find support below you until after prices moved a lot. Like you'll find support below you with a Bollinger. Even if you just keep selling, even if you keep selling though. So that's why I like to use what I call the trap, the pocket, harmony. That's how we'll refer to it. All right. Is that Pendle? Haven't looked at Pendle in a minute here. But just find that. Yeah, just find that on your chart. Use that to your advantage. That is what I do. I use it to my advantage. I just did that higher time frame Bollinger Band that you saw me using. Just so I can find where harmony is and use it to my advantage. That's why you saw that on my chart here on this 15-minute time frame here. Oh, there it is. It's going. She going. She going. Woohoo. Oh, I can delete these off of here. That was when I was doing the example. That's why you saw me using this right here. So I just found what my harmony is now, and then I'm just using this right here to help me. Like, okay. This isn't the right time frame right here. This isn't a 2-day, but that's why I made a notation of it, and that's why I have my notes in here for Zcash. But yay, get up there then. Get up there. Get up there. And that's why I only do VWAP if VWAP is higher. I changed this. You see, I got plus month right there, but I did change this to just the weekly for a sec, just to see where I find confluence with the other stuff that I was looking at over here. So I just like to do a higher. You can do that same thing over here too with a VWAP, but a VWAP doesn't. I don't know. It's different. It's different. Similar but different. So I prefer a Bollinger Band over a VWAP all day, every day. But I will use weekly, monthly, year. I don't really like it lower than that. Like if I had this on session, I wouldn't like that. I don't like session. I don't like it. And it depends too on the asset you're looking at. Like how volatile is it? How volatile is it? If it has high volatility, you most certainly don't want to be on a session. And that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. I'll publish that for anybody who wants to use it. I will publish it. Um, you know, where you don't have to keep flipping back and forth through time frames, drawing lines, and doing all the other stuff. I can publish that for you. I've never published any one of my indicators, so I don't really know how it works with you getting access to it on TradingView. I think I just publish it and then you can select it. I think that's how it works, but I will do that. I figure it out today. And then when I come on tomorrow, I'll just let you know. And you can go over there and use that indicator. If you're not somebody that, wants to try to do that on your own, you can use that. They trying to SFP. What did Bitcoin end up doing? Nothing. Okay, it got a small little bounce there. It did. It did. As I was running my map going through Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands. It held. It held. This was from the point. Yeah, it held. Still getting knocked back down below this resistance. Yeah. So the next thing is just going to be that. It's going to be that. All right. I think I ran down through here. Showed you what I utilize from time to time. We'll do it together another day. All right. Tomorrow I see you at 5 a.m. Please hit the like button. I appreciate you being here. I am down to Crypto TA. I'm on X. I'm also on CoinMarketCap, CMC. And this is the Coin Kings channel. I'm not the Coin King because people come in here and ask that crazy question. I guess it's not that crazy this day and age. But no, I'm not. I am down to Crypto TA. All right. I am a host on the Coin Kings channel. And he'll do videos every now and then. But he's a slacker. He's a slacker. All right. I love and appreciate you for joining me for that little educational level. Use your BB. Find your harmony. Seriously, it helps a lot, especially if you're somebody that struggles with trading. It helps a lot, and you just have to be patient for price action to pull back into your zones. That's it. Just be patient. Okay. I appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow.